what was your memory? I'll start there because, like, knowing that level, like that depth you had, and the experience you had, not only as a fan of wrestling, seeing the rise of Hulk, which I mean, you kind of obviously discussed as well in the doc, but you had obviously the behind the scenes with Hulk. So, I mean, is it fair to say maybe you got a glimpse into, Terry as well, Terry Bollea, as well
You
as
know, look,
okay,
by
okay,
the
good.
time by the time I became acquainted with Hulk Hogan, he certainly was Hulk Hogan. So when I finally began having conversations with him, he was Hulk Hogan, but he also was, you could definitely get him in moments where he'd remember seeing you the week before, 3 weeks before, and he'd chat and he'd say, "How's New York?" Like he remembered personal things about the people he came in contact with, because the people who were involved in WWE, it wasn't that vast then. It
Hmm.
was just, a dozen or 2 dozen people. So he seemed a little more grounded, even though he was in the wrestling world a celebrity and he was becoming a mainstream celebrity. I would say in the build up to WrestleMania 1, Cindy Lauper, who was the #1 pop star in the United States at least, brought him to the Grammy Awards as her bodyguard, and he was in a sleeveless tuxedo. And then celebrities were starting to catch on.
Yeah.
Vince's strategy was working. And in the flurry of all of that, that's when he became more removed from the average person because he couldn't just walk around anymore. A, the way he looked, and B, he was recognizable to people outside of wrestling, people who weren't wrestling fans anymore. So he crossed over.
Mm.
That said, he was still an approachable guy, and even when he came back to WWE in the early 2000s, when he came back after WCW, if you'd see him in catering, he was still quite approachable. And if he had a few moments, he would give you a conversation.